Yes, we do consume each other's blood on occasion for ritual purposes.
Not just no, but no. The chips could allow people to unlock office doors, make purchases.
Welcome back to the High Impact Flicks channel, all you non-microchipped, non-blood drinking, freedom-loving, tyranny-hating, pure-blooded people. Blood drinking and microchipping, you ask?
I guess to drink each other's blood might mislead people, or like people are imagining us with like goblets and we're like Game of Thrones drinking each other's blood. It's just a few drops.
Company in Wisconsin is offering to implant tiny microchips into its employees.
Not just no, but no. The chips could allow people to unlock office doors, make purchases.
Yes, we do consume each other's blood on occasion for ritual purposes only.
This is the first American company to ever try this. 1 week from today, many of the employees, including the CEO, will voluntarily have the microchips implanted into their bodies, and they're calling it, I'm not kidding here, a chips and salsa party.
Oh! It is used for a reason, and it is controlled, where it's like, let's shed a few drops of blood and each drink it.
This morning, like a scene straight out of 007.
So you can keep an eye on me?
Employees at one Wisconsin tech company, 3 Square Market, willingly making that fantasy a reality, implanting their own bodies with microchips.
He's much more haphazard and hectic and chaotic, where he's willing to just like cut his chest open with broken glass and be like, take my soul.
What did the employees say when you brought this idea to them?
Half of them actually within 5 seconds says yes.
CEO Todd Westby, along with 50 of his 80 colleagues, even his wife and kids, preparing to implant these chips, the size of a grain of rice, between their forefingers and thumbs, so they can do everything from buy snacks in the break room to log in the morning to unlocking doors with just the swipe of a hand.
Let me bleed on you. It doesn't not happen, let me tell you. Maybe not exactly like that, but a version of that has happened many times.
What did it take to persuade the holdouts?
Basically, we had to explain to them there's no tracking of the information. It's not GPS or anything like that.
The radio frequency technology in the devices, approved by the FDA, will be inserted with a small needle by a licensed technician.
Stay tuned, we've got a whole lot more coming up in a couple seconds.
For ritual purposes, take my soul.
I've talked a lot about the importance of health on this channel. You could have all the money, fame, and friends in the world, but if you don't have good health, life can be super miserable for you. Today's sponsor makes a product called C60 EVO. I'm promoting it because it's part of my daily routine. Why? Because with 1 teaspoon of C60 EVO in the morning, I've noticed an improvement in my mental focus, in my energy, and I'm even sleeping better at night. And it's a known antioxidant, 172 times more powerful than vitamin C. Take advantage of my code under the description and get an additional 10% off. Believe it or not, there are still grown adults who think that this guy invaded this place for no other reason than because he's evil and hates freedom. I think it's clear by now to everybody who's paying attention that corporate media, the federal government, the military-industrial complex, and the international banking cartel are all working together against the liberties and pocketbooks of the American people and the people of the world. We know this because of the blatant lies they tell, which always work in the favor of all 4 entities: corporate media, the military-industrial complex, the federal government, and the Zio banksters. And those lies always work against the people, because the people end up footing the bill for the lies that are told. The weapons of mass destruction lie, for example, was used to justify the Iraqi invasion and subsequent war, which ended up costing us trillions upon trillions of dollars. Remember the Gulf of Tonkin lie that embroiled the U.S. in a decade-long war in Vietnam? It cost at least 59,000 American soldiers their lives and a reported 3 million civilian lives. That war initially cost the American taxpayer $168 billion. In today's dollars, that's $1.5 trillion. And that's just one war. And you want to know the kicker? A lot of people think that because the Vietnam War was around a half a century ago, surely we've paid the entire bill for it by now, right? Yet payments for the conflict are still rising. Now above $22 billion annually, Vietnam compensation costs are roughly twice the size of the FBI's annual budget. And that's just one war. According to research, Americans are also still paying for World War I, World War II, and the Korean War. Just because the war is over doesn't mean the banksters stop siphoning money off of the people. Though it lasted fewer than 4 years, World War II, and you know how they lied us into that war, was the most expensive war in U.S. history. Adjusted for inflation to today's dollars, the war cost over $5 trillion, and in 1945, the war's last year, defense spending comprised about 40% of gross domestic product. The sad fact is, when there's this much money to be had in war, there's little incentive for peace. And when these power-hungry psychopaths have dollar signs in their eyes, they slobber at the prospect of putting more of them in their pockets. All thanks to the deceptive narratives woven by fake-stream, CIA-infiltrated, see the Frank Church Commission in 1975 for that little gem, Operation Mockingbird, lamestream, MK Ultra media. Mainstream media, the US government, the owners of the military-industrial complex, and the banksters know that when the people are scared through the lies coming out of their TVs, they plead with their rulers to do something, anything to keep them safe. Please ramp up the war machine, the lemmings say. Protect us from those bad communists or whatever bad guy you say is about to attack our freedoms and our way of life. So mainstream media lies, and the powers that shouldn't be profit handsomely from our ignorance and fear. And they use the same recipe every time. The Hegelian dialectic. Problem, reaction, solution. They create or invent or fabricate or co-opt a problem, wait for the public's fear-based reaction, and then they step in to provide the pre-planned solution that always works in their favor and against us. That, my friends, is why we have inflation to such an extent today. It's not because of evil Putin. Check this out from the inflation calculator. $1 in 1965 is equivalent to the purchasing power to about $9.13 today. That's an increase of $8.13 for $1 over 57 years. The dollar had an average inflation rate of 3.9% per year between 1965 and today, producing a cumulative price increase of 812%. Just take a look at the constant decline in the buying power of the dollars you earn every single year. This is a graphic example of the frog boiling slowly in the water. Little by little, freedoms are eroded and the value is extracted from the currency you use to live. Year after year, you have to work just a little bit harder and be away from the family just a little bit longer until you have parents working 2 or 3 jobs just to make ends meet. You know what this is called? This is called theft. It's the theft of your most precious assets, your time and your laboring energies. This is broad daylight, shameless, in-your-face theft, where with the help of their sold-out puppet politicians, the banksters who manipulate the value of the dollar through their legalized counterfeiting operation, which they euphemistically call quantitative easing, artificially increases the money supply, thereby diminishing the value of every dollar you worked hard to accumulate so you can buy the things you need to take care of your family. The criminal banksters who are constantly paraded around by fake stream media as our inflation-fighting economic heroes siphon the value of the first dollar spent, enriching themselves in the process. Then when those dollars reach our pockets, we find that they buy less and less over a period of time. Here's an example of this right here. I went to the grocery store last night and bought 7 items. This is my cart, and this is my bill. $88 for 7 items. So when somebody tells you that inflation is Putin's fault or gas and food prices are rising because an unseen enemy is attacking our democracy, you can know for certain that the entire reason your food and fuel bill has skyrocketed a staggering 30 to 55% in the last year. Whose fault is it really? I think you know the answer to that question, and you know exactly who's laying cover for these criminals. Another tell that these people are criminals and don't care to walk around in the light of truth was exemplified today in this top trending Twitter story. Cameras were not allowed at Ghislaine Maxwell's trial due to prohibitions that occur in most federal courts, fact checkers say. Ghislaine Maxwell's trial in December 2021 was held in a federal court within the District of New York, where cameras are not allowed under the Federal Rule of Criminal Procedure, AP and PolitiFact report. While some local and state courts across the United States permit cameras and live broadcasts of particular proceedings, federal courts largely do not. And why don't they? Don't these federal officials, judges, and policymakers swear to protect the First Amendment freedom of the press? Who are they to bar access and viewership to the general public? Further, does the Federal Rule of Criminal Procedure trump the supposed supreme law of the land? George Washington said, "If the freedom of speech is taken away, then dumb and silent we may be led like sheep to the slaughter." The same goes for the removal of the freedom of the press. They say social media users are making misleading claims about the reason Ghislaine Maxwell's federal criminal trial was not televised, while the civil trial of Johnny Depp's libel lawsuit is being screened. Federal courts do not allow media cameras. Yeah, we know. But why is that? Because they are violators of their oath. They don't care about your freedoms. They don't want a free press or free speech or your freedom to assemble. To solidify this infringement of press freedoms, they say Maxwell's trial was held in a federal court in New York, and federal courts do not allow cameras like some state courts do. Experts told the Associated Press previously that this rule covers all federal courts in the country, despite erroneous claims online that there was a media gag order on the Maxwell trial. Again, corporate media, the federal government, and the banksters all work together like vultures, constantly circling around, ready to swoop down and devour our freedoms. And it's been like this for over a century. The question is, when will we unite and do something about the tyranny? Leave your thoughts about this for the world and the global thought police in the comments section below. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to this channel. Hit the bell notification icon, give it a thumbs up, share it with everybody you know, and don't forget to subscribe to my private email list through my website, highimpactflix.com. Okay, before you go anywhere, a lot of people have asked me if they can get a shirt from the store with the design on the back. Let me show you real quick what you can do within the store as far as self-editing your own design that you can put on any shirt, hoodie, mug, phone case, whatever. Pick out any design from the store, then select any item. And guys, there are hundreds of items to choose from. Hats, beanies, bags, buttons, men's items, women's items, stuff for kids, and even pets. I'll just select this shirt right here. You can change the item color to whatever you want. Hit this little pencil editing tool right here and then click on Customize. You can enlarge, shrink, or reposition the design on any item. You can also click over here to the left on Designs and add any design you want. Matter of fact, you can put as many designs as you want on the front or on the back of the shirt. Or you can click on text and add some customized lettering. With the lettering, you can change the font color, increase the size, and you can even bend the text. And check this out. If you want a design or lettering on the back or on the sides, just click on where you want your design or text, click on the design or text tool, or you can even upload your own design. It only increases the price of the item a couple bucks. And you can do this on any item that you select. The store link is in the description and in the pinned comment. Your purchase gets you a kick-ass design and supports the channel while it helps me create more content. Leave your thoughts about this video for the world and the Google Thought Police in the comments section below.